So hi, welcome to the Good Noise Podcast. I'm Shane,
I'm Glory.
and we're here with
I'm Dan from Alt.
or some questions to say about their upcoming album, ABEYANCE. Congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about the response to the announcement so far?
Yeah, pretty awesome so far. I'm pretty keen to see what everyone else thinks of the unreleased tracks that are out on Friday. But yeah, pretty I don't know, good response so far, I reckon.
Hell yeah, the album rocks.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, heaps, guys. Is there are you guys veering to the heavy or the softer side of those songs, or
Always the heavier stuff for
Heavy.
me.
yeah,
I used to be a softer side, but over the years, Shane has kind of made me lean more towards heavy now. So yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
hmm
that's pretty interesting to see. Like, because I feel like we've got a bit of a mix between the two on the album. So like, where people's heads are kind of going is kind of pretty interesting for us.
Fair enough.
For sure. So, is there any meaning behind the album title or cover art?
Yeah, so that's kind of gone off like Dan, the vocalist, like main idea about the album, which is kind of like being stuck in like a limbo state. So I actually did the artwork for that, and in the guy in the hood in the album cover, I actually 3D scanned Dan, the vocalist, and put him in there. So it's like actually him in that artwork, um, within like a 3D space kind of thing, which
For
was a bit
sure.
of fun. But yeah, it was kind of all around, you know, at the time of writing, we are all kind of in a bit of a weird spot. So it kind of, I know Dan kind of likes to look into different meanings of things, and that just kind of seemed to fit. So yeah, abeyance is like a state of limbo.
Okay.
Hmm.
Makes sense.
Gotcha.
Um,
Yeah.
so can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for this album?
This one was actually, we started writing in like at the start of COVID for this. We had like a song done before COVID, but then yeah, COVID was the main kind of area that we started writing in. We had like a week booked in with Landon from the Plot and You, and yeah, he kind of helped us like with the start basis of everything really. And then we kind of flowed from there. And we originally were going to just do an EP. And then as we were kind of getting more label interest towards the end of that, they were like, you should really push for an album. So we yeah, put some more time together and yeah, chucked them like put yeah, I think it was four more songs together for that. And but yeah, usually it's just we'll go around to Simon, the other guitarist's house, and just kind of write from there. He's probably the main songwriter, and then
Hmm.
um, yeah, we kind of work around what Dan does vocally, and you kind of add bits here and there, and kind of get it to the spot that we think's right.
Okay. And you
Yeah.
said that the writing process kind of started like with the COVID lockdown. Were you guys able to do like a hybrid of like Zoom and also getting together? Because I know that the lockdowns over there, like shit would open, close, open, close. So was that able to
Yeah,
happen for you guys?
yeah. So it started off as just like Zoom call kind of stuff, and obviously with us being Australian land in the States, we kind of we're doing that, but also sending each other song files from each other's houses. But lockdowns weren't like in Adelaide in Australia, not as strict as other places in Australia. So like, if you were to like cruise across town for like a hour or two or something like that, it wasn't really like the end of the world kind of thing. But
Mm.
yeah, majority of the time, things eased up pretty quick for us, and we could just go around to each other's houses and write there. So it wasn't so impacting for us in
S-
that
s-
sense.
I was under the impression that like the entirety of Australia had
Oh,
like the open, the close, the open, the close. Because I think it's like maybe Sydney was like that. I don't fucking know where these artists are that we talk to,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
other parts of Australia, we've talking to people and they've been like, it was open, it was closed, it was open, it was closed. So I didn't know that that wasn't the case for the entire country.
Oh, yeah, it was still open and closed, but like I suppose being in a smaller city, it was a little bit more like I don't know, it just seemed a little bit more relaxed, I guess.
Okay.
Like Sydney and Melbourne were just hammered with that really badly and enforced a lot more, I guess. But a couple of us live reasonably close to each other, so yeah, we weren't too far away.
That makes sense. Okay.
right. So, what song off this album took longest to write, and which one is your personal favorite?
Um, Longest the ride. That might have been uh like maybe the Great Depression. Maybe from memory, it could have taken us the longest because we did. before we went into the final recording process, we were kind of like changing up the melodies and stuff on that one. So I feel like maybe that one dragged out for a little bit longer than we would have liked to. But yeah, it kind of came together in the last minute with Callum, our producer, helping with getting stuff to sound right. And I think that ended up being one of our favorites as well in the end because, I think when you're a bit unsure about a track and then you make a few changes and then it really starts working. Um, I think that was always, yeah, it kind of happened with that one. But I think my personal favorite would be Wraith, I reckon. Especially live, the crowd reaction for that song's been, yeah, really, really cool to see. I think as like a band that wasn't overly heavy in the past, that seeing people run around and mosh and stuff like that is a pretty cool feeling.
Yeah. That must also be awesome considering you did write this record in the midst of the pandemic. So like when you were writing it, were you able to kind of visualize it live at all?
A little bit, yeah. I think like throughout the whole album we've got like yeah, a fair mix. So I think yeah, seeing the ups and downs throughout the set was a pretty cool kind of thing to kind of think about as we were writing.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay.
So how'd the track list for the album come about? Did you guys write the opener be the opener, closer be a closer, shuffle around and see what fits? What was that process like?
Yeah, it was kind of a bit of a shuffle kind of around like Parasite, which is the first track on the album, kind of came towards the end of the writing process. And those two songs actually lead directly into each other. But I don't know, I think we try to experiment a little bit more with that as the writing process went on. So I think, yeah, little things like that we've kind of, changed around. One of the last songs we wrote was Back to Earth, and we did a bit of like a time like remap towards the end as well, which we haven't really mucked around with. So it kind of just gets progressively slower as the song ends, kind of thing. So yeah, there's a few things like that we haven't really expanded with before. So
Okay,
yeah.
makes sense.
It's fucking awesome. So would you be able to tell us where your headspace was at while you were creating this record?
It's kind of like a little bit over. I think everyone was kind of in that spot, a little bit all over the place anyway. I think as well, like, because we're a relatively young band, like, our writing processes and what we want to do, and kind of, we don't really have a defined sound, I don't think. Like, we're not like all our songs aren't like super heavy and stuff like that. So I think that just us experimenting with things was a fun process. And I think that we were, yeah, obviously, yeah, being in lockdown, we were all kind of a little bit muddled in that kind of way. But I think, yeah, being open to this experiment and not really be tied down to a specific idea was kind of helped us get through to a bit of a clearer direction, I think.
All right. And you mentioned you guys were still able to kind of get together at least at some point during the writing process, but like how did you guys have to adapt it all from like the EP to the LP, like in terms of your writing process, with obviously one, the world being open, the other one, the world being shut down?
No, pretty much the same, I think. I think Simon being a driving force with that is, and Simon's, yeah, very creative kind of guy, and Dan, the singer, is very much more of like a time enforcer. So he'll just like crack the whip, and so if anyone's like not, keeping up, or we need to get something done by time, like he's pretty good with getting everyone in line. So yeah, I don't think our process has really changed too much. I think we had a bit more time to write this time, so I think maybe we, had more time to experiment with ideas. So which was good for us, I think.
Yeah, all right.
Absolutely.
So how do you recommend your fans to listen to this album for the first time? Should they do it in the car with friends, in the dark with headphones on? Is it a workout album, party album? What do you personally recommend?
It's kind of hard. Like for me, I love, yeah, probably be in a dark room and listen to it with headphones on. But I think we do have some more upbeat songs. So I think like we've had a few people say they'd like to work out to music. But yeah, I reckon with friends, I reckon this one would be a good one to have just kicking in the background. I reckon it'd be awesome.
Hell yeah. All right.
Fuck yeah. This one should be super, super quick off the top of your head. I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less.
Industrial, dark, happy.
Oh,
Okay.
there you go.
That's,
Perfect.
Hell yeah.
it'd be funny. I reckon the happy one will spur a few people.
Yeah,
that
the
would shake a few people,
happy
that
and
one.
dark really don't go together, but
No,
it makes
actually
sense.
directly next to each other.
Yeah.
So in that same train of thought, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want listeners to have while going through the album?
I think just like an open mind, because I think we didn't strive for a consistent thing throughout the album. I know there's definitely songs that will definitely touch on the same sound and maybe lyrical content, but I think yeah, we just wanted to kind of write what came naturally to us, and I don't think that's particularly one thing. So I think you know, if you're mainly a heavy writer, listener, be interesting to see what you guys think of, something that's a bit more rockier or more ballad based kind of song. So yeah, just kind of open mindedness with that one, I reckon.
All right, yeah, and it flows so well, and like the track list, it just kind of makes sense with all the different sounds that are on it. That like even if you aren't a fan of every sound that is on the album, you should wind up enjoying the album anyway, just because it flows so well. That's at least my 2 cents on it.
Very cohesive.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, glad you guys enjoy it.
Yeah.
So, are you able to talk about any particularly challenging or standout moments from the creation of this album, positive or negative?
I think like positive. I think everything on this album for us probably in that kind of process has been on the positive side. I don't think I can't really think of too many negatives other than, well, one was annoying that I went the first day of recording, I couldn't, well, first week of recording, I couldn't go because I managed to get COVID. So I'd
Oh,
have to
fuck.
record,
Oh wow.
record different, kind of liaise with the other guys in the studio while I was writing stuff. And then after I had my week of COVID, I went in and tracked my part. So it wasn't too bad. We just kind of had to shuffle things around, and it wasn't my smartest decision going to a festival before recording, but
fair enough.
Yeah.
But listen,
So
you
that
gotta
was
live your life too. Like I get it.
Yeah. At least
Yes.
who did you see at the festival? Was it worth it?
Yeah. So we're good friends with the band Wind Waker, so they were playing a festival. So and because we're in Adelaide, we were recording in Melbourne, so they were like, "Oh, we've got a ticket for you if you want to come along." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll come along." And it was great until I got sick. And
Damn.
just about everyone else at that festival got sick, so at least I wasn't on my own.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's probably maybe one negative. But I think working with Landon and Marcus from North Aim was a cool process as well. I think for us, just seeing how people go about their writing and how they take an idea and merge it into like a simple idea to something that's a bit more thought out. And obviously, I think like Landon obviously writes everything in that band. It's just crazy to see where his mind goes. It's very, very interesting.
For sure, yeah.
So,
You guys definitely had a star-studded lineup helping you guys with the album, with writing and producing. Like I saw the list of names, and I was like, that's not half bad.
yeah. We worked with Trenton Woodley from Hands Like Houses for a little while now. We've kind of grown to just had a good relationship with him, really. And like we, in our old band After Change, we went over there to New South Wales and recorded with him for the first time, like maybe 6 or 7 years ago now, I think. And we just always kept in contact, and it's just, I know, we kind of sent him a song. It's like, what do you think of this? And then he just, I think he worked on a PEP, and he just brought it to the next level kind of thing with what he did to it. So
makes sense.
I find that really interesting.
Oh yeah. So for this question, I want you to picture you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop. What is your snack of choice?
12 chocolate. Do you guys get 12 Cadbury chocolates there?
Oh, Cadbury. I know Cadbury.
Yeah,
I've never
yeah.
had it, but I've
Yeah.
heard of it.
Yeah, it's best chocolate. was real good.
All right.
All right.
Didn't even
on
have
the
to think about that one.
Yeah, exactly. Is it just like milk chocolate, like semi-sweet, dark? Like what is it?
Yeah, it's just a milk chocolate. It's kind of like got this like wafer or not like wafer, but it's just the way it's poured. The milk chocolate is just like kind of airy kind of thing. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not at all what I expected. Fuck yeah. So on the topic of food, if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why?
Euros. I would say Euros. We always seem to have tzatziki with a lot of stuff in the
hmm
riders. So I feel like I don't know. That just seems to be our thing.
Fuck yeah, I
All
love
right.
Doesn't
those.
really
Yeah.
correlate to us as people, but it's always on the rider.
Exactly. But as long as it makes sense, I can fuck with it.
Yeah. So for the last couple questions, we're going to shift completely away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So
Yeah.
if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Ginger beer for the drink,
Ooh.
and then food would have to be a quesadilla,
Nice.
Oh, fuck yeah.
chicken
Nice.
quesadilla. Yeah.
Nice.
So if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
I don't know, Star Wars, somewhere in like yeah, outer space would be cool.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I've done of asking the last question. Every single person that we've spoken to have said that it is the most important question. What's your favorite color?
Blue,
Specific shade of blue?
dark.
All right.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
So as I said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
No, just stream the songs and let us know what you think of them.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, thank you for sitting down. This has been Dan from Alt, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.